welcome to Eat Well, Be Happy. I'm Deborah.
And I'm Roxanne.
Notice her little headband. Show your headband. Cute.
Little sparkle.
Yeah. Roxanne and I are going to be having fun in the kitchen today. We're making lunch for you, and we want you to eat well, be happy, so remember that. We're making 3 dishes, which are really kind of fun, lots of options. We're making a fresh heirloom tomato salad, and you'll see what we add or don't add to that. We're going to be making a soup with cannelli beans and greens from the garden and herbs from the garden. And what else are we going to be doing?
A Mexican corn salad.
Mexican corn salad, which could mean anything. So we'll just sort of take it away and we'll see where we go with that.
Let's go.
We're going to cut these heirloom tomatoes in chunks, whatever kind of chunks you think would look nice in your salad.
And they're beautiful.
And then we're going to put them in here and salt them and let them sit for about 15 minutes. And ordinarily I wouldn't do that. I would never think to take that time. But the famous chefs say to do that. And why? Because it intensifies the tomato flavor. So you're taking out part of the water, which means you're being really left with the meat of the tomato.
Nice.
And these heirloom tomatoes come from somewhere, not from my garden, because tomatoes aren't ripe in the garden yet. But in my garden, I have purple tomatoes and green tomatoes and red tomatoes. But this is a pretty good selection of different colored tomatoes. Make sure when you're doing tomatoes that you experience all the different colors and just all the different flavors.
And how are you chopping yours? Have you decided?
I'm not quite sure.
Okay. I know you like things bite-sized, so I don't want to cut them too large.
It doesn't matter actually, because it's all going to be in the salad and it's all going to be wonderful.
Okay.
So I'm going to salt kind of as we do per layer, and just a little bit.
And how long do you have to salt for before you can continue?
They say usually about 15-20 minutes, which is
not
why
long.
that's why we're doing it first. And it's also why I didn't do it ahead of time to prep it all.
Okay.
I wonder what this kind is. I have no idea
I
what
love
it's
the
called.
stripes, though. It's so pretty.
Yeah. When my grandmother came to this country from Poland, she had never been allowed to eat a tomato because they believed that they were poison apples. That's what they call them. Oh, these are kind of pretty inside. One of the nice things about tomatoes is they have, is it lycopene? I always say that wrong. I think they have lycopene.
You're correct.
Which is one of the carotenoid supplements that actually is really good for not only for eyes, but for men, for prostate health. And unfortunately for this salad, tomatoes are one of the few foods that they say actually you get more bang for your buck if you eat them slightly cooked.
Okay.
So there's a reason for tomato sauce, there's a reason for pizza, but the salad is neither one of those.
I'm going to borrow this and just
I wondered why it
put
was
my
so empty.
yeah,
sort of.
because my
Here,
tomatoes are
let me hold
sitting
this in
here.
just in case.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do that together. Oh, look at all Roxanne's tomatoes. Do we have enough here? We need another colander, don't we?
Do you want to do 2 colanders?
I've got a colander here too.
Okay, here, you finish yours and I'm going to put mine in.
Okay, so we just
Take
need
this
a
one out.
bowl to rest your colander in.
Yeah. Mine are very juicy.
So are mine, so are mine.
This looks like summer in a bowl. Don't you think?
Yeah.
So pretty.
Do you want to taste a piece of tomato now?
Okay, thank you.
What do you think?
It's sweet and delicious and juicy.
So the question is, do we need to salt them and let them give up their juices? Maybe not. But
Yeah.
here we go. Oh, we have
Right.
one more going
One
on.
more. Look at all the juice on my board.
Yeah? Wow. And they say to salt them very generously because that'll come off in the liquid too.
So is this a way to treat maybe not so perfectly ripe tomatoes? Does it help bring out some flavor? Because when they're not ripe, they're a
That makes
little
sense,
dull.
doesn't it?
Yeah,
does
that
make
might.
sense. She's pretty smart. Does make sense.
Like in the winter when tomatoes are definitely not at their peak, salt might
Well-
help with the effort to get a nice tasting tomato.
But why would we eat tomatoes in the winter time when they're not at their peak?
That's true.
So we're going to put these tomatoes aside
Okay.
for about 10-15 minutes.
All right. I'm going to wipe with our hemp washcloth. just all this tomato goo that I've gotten on the board, so we can continue.
I wonder if there's such a thing as salting too much. I don't know.
Probably. Don't you? Maybe.
I don't know.
We're gonna find out.
I don't know. All right, so we're going to put these tomatoes aside
Okay.
for just a little bit, and we'll see how juicy they get or not. So we are calling this a cold herbed yogurt soup with cannelli beans. And are we going to use yogurt? Could we use kefir? Could we use sour cream? Probably all of the above, but we're going to try and use. We might give a dollop of sour cream on the end, but we're going to try and use a lactose-free yogurt, and more about that in a minute. So I discovered that I liked it best if it was pureed. So we're going to put the beans in here, we're going to put the vegetables in here, we're going to put the water in here, the herbs in here. We're going to cook it just for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to blend it, and then we'll do some other things. All right, cannelli beans.
Yes.
Where the heck did they go?
Right in the front.
So you want about a cup and a half, about 2.5 to 3 cups of cannelli beans. And I'm going to put them in here with a liquid because these beans have been cooked with a piece of kombu, which is a seaweed, and that makes them much more digestible, and hopefully you don't get gas from them because they've been cooked that way. But I'm going to leave some because it occurred to me with a blended soup, we might want some to garnish
Extra.
on the top. Thank you.
You're welcome. That looked pretty.
Yeah, do you know what a cannelli bean is, another name for it?
Is it
It's a white kidney bean.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we've got our cannelli beans in there, and we're going to be putting in about 4 cups of water that are right in front of me.
Okay. Can it go in now, or do you have
Can
to
go
bring it?
right in now. You know, my recipes are all about being easy, about being fast, and if I have to stop, for instance, and roast peppers and peel them, it ain't gonna happen. So everything going into the pot. And then, did we find spinach? You know what? We're gonna use a green, we're gonna use broccoli rabe, because I do have this in my garden. We're gonna chop that.
Chop it?
Yeah.
A little fine, or?
Chop that pretty, we're going to blend it, so it doesn't
Okay.
really matter. So about 2 cups of the chopped spinach or other tender green. You could use chard, you could use spinach, you could use kale, which the cooking is tender enough too. And then we're going to use about 1/2 cup of chopped cilantro, dill, and basil. And again, this is all from the garden.
Do you want to wait, or?
No, let's just put it
Okay.
all in. And because we're going to be blending it, I'm not even going to bother to chop it.
Okay. There you go.
Let's live dangerously. So let's see. So here, this is I don't remember what variety basil this is.
It's
and-
very pretty.
Isn't
It's
it?
tiny.
Smell it.
Ooh, very fragrant.
Yeah, so there's the basil, about 1/2 cup of basil. Here's some cilantro, here's some more dill. So there's that, and we'll leave some of this over here to garnish afterwards.
Okay.
Remind me,
I
that's what
will.
I've done with it. Okay, and then we're just gonna put the top on, and we're literally just gonna bring it to steam it, until the greens and everything's wilted. Garlic, she said. Should we put the garlic in?
I think so.
Okay.
Sometimes it's nice to have it cooked off a little bit.
We're going to be blending it. So about
Yeah.
2 cloves of garlic. What else? Should we check our recipe?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. We've got our cannelli beans, our 2 cups of greens, our 1/2 cup of cilantro, dill, and basil. And then we have a couple of
Garlic.
cloves of garlic. We need
Yep.
a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of pepper.
All right, and I have that for you. And I know you like to eyeball. I would measure, but you're gonna.
Life is too short to
Okay.
measure when you don't need to.
Okay.
Use a good salt. Make sure you're worth it.
And this
Don't
one
use-
is the real salt, isn't it?
That's the real salt.
That's
This
nice.
is called real salt. That's its brand name. It's
Yeah.
actually comes from Utah, so it's a U.S. real salt with all the minerals. All right, so we're just going to take that. We're going to let that do its own thing for a minute, and we're going to be mixing in either a lactose-free yogurt or a lactose-free sour cream. Make sure that your dairy is grass-fed.
Yes.
Make sure that your dairy is, raised properly too. And grass-fed because it has more CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, something that used to be in our meat and used to be in our dairy products when cattle were allowed to, not only cattle, but sheep and goats,
Yeah,
and were allowed to roam and eat grass. So this is just beginning to simmer, so we're going to sort of leave it for a minute or two.
Do you want me to whisk some yogurt?
Yeah, and
Get it in the
again, when you're
container?
adding dairy to soup, I learned this the hard way. If you add it to a hot soup, it curdles like crazy.
It does.
If you don't want it to curdle, you mix in some of the hot soup to it and whisk it, and then add the dairy to the soup. Or some people will add a couple of tablespoons of flour to the dairy and do that. And then add it to the soup. But we're going to blend the soup in a minute.
Okay.
We're going to take a little bit of the hot soup, put it in our dairy, whisk it, and then we'll add it back.
And how much yogurt are we putting in?
We don't want to just guess, do we?
2 cups.
2 cups.
So the whole thing.
2 cups, yeah.
Right?
And then we're going to garnish this with some pumpkin seed oil too.
Okay.
All right.
So this is a 24 ounce because I'm not going to give it all if you just wanted 2 cups.
Okay. All right, I'm just checking this because we don't want to overcook it.
No.
I don't know if you can see how bright green it is now, how really
Gorgeous.
beautiful, but I'm going to cover it and let it go 1 more minute.
And you can really smell the dill and the,
Basil and the cilantro.
I can even smell the broccoli rabe. Delish.
Let's hope it turns out. And the beans are going to be our thickener. They're going to give the soup our body. All right. Shall we, while we're waiting for that for another minute,
Yeah.
let's talk about the corn salad.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Cast iron is great.
So Mexican, I always think of things like olives, corn. I always think of cauliflower as being Mexican-ish and jalapenos. So into the corn salad, we want about 8 ears of corn or about 6 cups of corn. And I did cook it in the cast iron skillet yesterday with just 2 tablespoons of olive oil.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah, and we'll warm it up a little bit. If you don't have fresh corn, can you use frozen corn? Absolutely.
Organic.
I was going to say, remember, whatever corn you're using, it's organic because you don't want corn genetically modified.
Yes.
They're just too many. Started out to be anecdotal stories. Now the science is coming along to say the genetic modification in our food does harm our gut, does cause other things,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be a science experiment. I don't
Neither
want
do I.
Roxanne to be one, and
Nope.
I don't want you to be a science experiment either. Let them find out 20 years from now that we're killing ourselves with GMOs. I don't want to be one of those people who's been affected. All right,
We're boiling.
we're boiling.
so-
We're going to turn this off.
Okay, and I'll swap you for the,
Yep.
maybe I'll take this one and you can put the cast iron on. Whoops, oops. All
Don't
right.
do that at home.
All right, as long as you're okay, that's all that matters.
I've spilled some on the counter there, so
Okay.
be careful.
All right. And
Don't do that at home, but it's better
Yeah.
than catching your ceiling on fire, I suppose.
let me
All right,
just
so
move this up a little bit.
we're going to now blend this soup.
Okay.
Do you want a scooper to get it in?
Yeah, I can get it. Actually, I have the ladle that we're going to use in the end.
Okay.
That'll be a good thing, I think.
All right. So we're going to add this. You can do this in a regular blender. It works a lot faster in a
Vitamix.
Vitamix.
And you just want to not fill it too full because it'll come up and over and burn you.
And also
So-
you want to hold the cover down so that
Yeah.
it doesn't splash and go everywhere,
Yeah. you just-
everywhere on the counter.
Just want to be careful.
I want to see if that's going to be enough beans. Looks like it will be.
I think it's going to be great.
All right. Corn, I'm going to turn it on just to warm it up a little bit. I like it kind of toasty and crispy and little dark color.
Is it okay if I start with
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Do you want to put it back in the pot?
I think
or-
so.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless do you want something clear so we can see the color?
I don't think that's in the cards.
Okay. So you can watch, look how green that is though. It's just beautiful.
And again, this soup can be served hot, room temperature, or cold. So make it the day before,
Yep.
put it in your refrigerator, and then it's like a You know, there's the Russian borscht, the beet soup that is served cold in the summer. This is
This will be
wonderful,
really
too.
good in a lunchbox instead of a sandwich. Kids get really tired of sandwiches.
Do you think a kid would eat this kind of soup for lunch?
My children would eat this soup for lunch. They would.
Her kids are pretty unusual. They march to a different drummer, I think, than most kids. All right.
Or my husband would enjoy it.
Well, he
Good
counts.
adult.
He counts. I just want to, all right, this is going. Let's see what our other ingredients are and what the dish we have for our corn salad.
Okay. I think one, oops, sorry.
And you're going to pour some into that yogurt,
Yes.
which is going to give the soup a very nice tang. One thing about cultured fermented foods, which yogurt and kefir and sour creams are too, is that again it has those good bugs for our gut, and our poor little guts are not getting really enough attention these days. You know, we're feeding them too much junk food, too much stuff that isn't keeping them healthy. And anytime you're taking an antibiotic, of course, you're killing off all the probiotics, the good bugs. So you need to do everything you can to replace those.
Okay, all done.
All right,
And so I'm going to hold back some of this
yeah. And
and
mix some of it in with the,
yogurt.
yeah.
Okay. Do we want to let it cool just for a moment?
No, let's live dangerously.
Really?
Yeah.
It's really hot.
Well, just
feeling-
like a spoonful or two.
Okay. And this is how you would, it's called tempering. You're actually tempering you're bringing something cold to match room
Can you
temperature.
see Roxanne? Can you see her tempering?
Let me see if I can move this out of the way. I think I'm in the shot now.
Go ahead, go show. Move over
So
and go
it's-
show.
So it's just, you're just adding, you do the same thing when you make a custard. You just want to slowly add something hot to something cold before you add the entire cold thing to something warm. So it doesn't curdle, hopefully. We'll cross our fingers.
Yeah, if it does curdle, well, we'll eat it up in any case.
Okay.
And while Roxanne is doing that, I'm going to move on to the Mexican corn salad a little bit. So we'll let our corn come to room temperature. And we're going to put in about 2 cloves of garlic.
Okay, garlic's right here.
Thank you, Madame.
You're welcome.
Oh, it's the press I needed.
It's right here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love my little Roselle garlic press. It's so easy on the wrist. It's just my very favorite. Very easy to clean too. So these are teeny tiny, minuscule cloves. So when I say 2 cloves, it's of a nice size.
All right, well, so far we have not curdled, so we're doing very good.
Yay!
And slowly but surely, this yogurt is actually coming up in temperature, so hopefully when it goes into the pot, it'll be nice and comfortable and it won't break.
Wunderbar.
Yes.
All right, we've got our 2 cloves of garlic, and we're going to do jalapeno pepper. And if you don't like hot peppers, leave it out. But I think that the more you try and the more you eat things like that, the more you get used to them and the more fun you think they are. And they certainly are healthy for us.
Yes. And when you think of Mexican corn salad, you would think of a jalapeno being in there in some shape or form.
Right.
So I'm going to just touch it with my finger. I'm taking it out. But this is a good way to see now it's nice and warm. It's no longer cold, so the yogurt's totally warm.
Wow.
It should be it should be the same temperature of close to what we're going to pour it into, and it should hold just fine. So that's
It looks
just
so pretty.
It's a little trick. Just
Whoops.
it works with eggs too. If you have to put an egg in something hot, the way to not end up with scrambled eggs or a curdled mess is to temper first and then add.
And I didn't have the patience to do that the other night, and I did end up with curdled. So I'm so glad Roxanne was here today.
And you want to go slow. If you dump it all in, just take your time with it. try to get the result you're looking for. See? So far, so good. All
I'm
right.
dying to see how that tastes. Did we add salt and pepper to that yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
But okay, so
I just love the look
that
of
color
that.
beautiful?
Oh my gosh. So you're going to add about a teaspoon salt, pepper,
okay.
and here's my jalapeno right into the salad bowl. And then I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons chopped cilantro and chili powder.
Right here.
Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
So we're adding about a teaspoon of chili powder.
Do you mind if I taste?
No, I wish you would.
Okay, okay.
Cilantro, an excellent chelating agent, they say. So it helps pull, helps detox, helps pull.
Well, this is delicious.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really, really. Do you want to taste it?
Yes.
Real quick?
It looks so wonderful.
Sorry. give
No,
you a
that's just fine. Just that little bit.
Okay.
Ugh. Whoop, of course, I've grabbed it the wrong way.
Isn't that good?
Yum.
You can really taste the cilantro and the dill.
Yeah. Okay.
Am I allowed to ladle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's ladle, and then what we were going to do on that one, let's go back to finishing that one. So we were going to drizzle some pumpkin seed oil.
Okay.
Are you lucky? Pumpkin seed oil. So pumpkin seed oil, made from a particular kind of a pumpkin plant where the seeds are hulless, and you'll look and you'll see how dark it is.
Ooh. Oh, Deborah, that's so pretty.
So don't we look like a fancy restaurant now? So there's our pumpkin seed oil.
Okay. Now I'm
And
gonna
we're
set
gonna
these
put it,
down.
should we put a little bit of beans on top?
I
too,
think
as a
so. That would
garnish?
be so pretty.
Whoops, okay. Let's just do that.
Right in the center. Yeah.
Okay. And now you're gonna pretend that this soup is been
Cold.
chilled and
Yeah.
cold overnight.
But it tastes really lovely warm. So in the
It
winter.
does. All right, we gotta hustle our
Okay.
bustles, lady.
All right. What would you like me to do?
Okay, back to the Mexican corn salad. So
Okay.
we have got to put the corn in here.
All right.
And if I hold the skillet, will you?
Yes.
Okay.
Spoon it in.
Probably want to let the corn cool and not do it this hot, but into every life a little rain must fall.
Cast iron's a wonderful heat conductor. If you're looking for color, it's really the best way to get color on your food.
And
is
they
to-
last forever.
They sure do.
Okay. Now, when I looked at that salad,
Yes.
I said to myself, this is not enough for a salad. So I happen to have a cauliflower, I happen to have the zucchini. I just threw them in the oven and tossed them with a little olive oil. We're going to add that.
Okay.
We're just going to live dangerously. And hopefully you do the same at home too. If you have something in your refrigerator, think, ooh, that would be interesting. And here's our cilantro.
Okay. Wonderful.
And what else are we putting in there? So we were going to do juice from 2 limes and a little, where's our little juicer? Next to the sink maybe?
Okay. Yes.
When all else fails, try the sink.
Well, the color on this is just gorgeous also.
Okay, let's get, and we were going to do in this one a white cheese. And
Yes, and I have it.
it's over there.
Okay.
I moved it,
All
took it away
right.
from you. You can use any kind of a fresh white cheese. I mean, you could use a mozzarella in this too if you liked, but I had some goat cheese
cheese.
at home, so I decided that I was going to use goat cheese.
Can I crumble it? Do you
Yeah.
want to toss first before I put the cheese in?
Oh, I think we should toss everything together.
Okay. You know what? The little warmth
It's going to
from
melt
it,
it.
it's going to melt it. It's going to be a creamy, delicious little dressing on its own.
Reach it over you, honey.
Okay.
All right, let's see what else we've got in there. So we've got our 6 cups of corn, we've
Yeah.
got our 2 cloves of garlic, we've got our small hot pepper, we've got our 1/4 cup of cheese. Of course, we just put in much more.
I put Well, a half a cup, that's all.
And we're going to use as its dressing, we've got our 2 tablespoons of cilantro, our teaspoon and a half of Mexican-style chili pepper, and we are going to use
Gilda Lily?
smoked olive oil. So smoked over
So
pine
good.
cones.
Tastes like bacon.
Tastes like bacon. All right, let's mix that and then taste it. Do we add any salt or pepper there yet? I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think so. You just want to be careful with the salt. The cheese is
Yeah.
going to give you some salt.
All right, moving right along here, because we know that you're about to lose patience and you want dinner.
I'm going in for a taste.
All right. Yes?
It's really good.
See, I know.
Good job.
I can look at that and I can say, that's going to taste good. So I
Very
don't need
nice.
to taste it until it's time to sit down and eat with you.
Very nicely done. All right, now to finish with tomatoes.
Yep. So we're going to put those in the blue bowl.
Okay.
And I don't see so much liquid in these tomatoes. So we may be in trouble
Well,
with the
there's a
amount of
little
salt.
coming out, but they'll be very well seasoned.
Oh, we were going to put the oric in there too.
Okay. In the Mexican salad?
Yeah.
I can do that. Yeah, maybe it takes a little longer for the liquid to come out.
So this salad could be finished as simply as this, with a little bit of fresh oregano from the garden. So it could be as simple as, you know, just some tomatoes and some salt and some fresh oregano. It could be as simple as that, and a little pomegranate molasses.
I love pomegranate molasses.
If you don't like pomegranate molasses, which is just, it's the concentrated, they take pomegranate juice and just concentrate it. So it has kind of a little citrusy, kind of a little, how would you, molassesy?
It's a little citrusy and it's a little sour, like a
Yeah.
pomegranate. I mean, but it's rich and luscious when you add it to things, I think.
So 2 tablespoons of a pomegranate molasses or a balsamic vinegar if you like. And then we had decided we were going to play with sumac.
Yes.
Where's our sumac? Here it is.
Okay.
So we decided we want to add a little bit of sumac, not the poison kind. And we're going to add about a teaspoon, and you can see it has a gorgeous red color.
Sure does.
So this is used throughout the Middle East and all things tomato. And all right, now we're just going to lightly toss that.
Okay.
Do we have any oil in there yet? Did we put
No
any
oil. Do you want a little olive oil?
Yeah. And I'm just going to use some flowers from the garden just to garnish that a little bit. I have another one of those somewhere.
Oh, Deborah, that's so pretty.
Yeah, and we were going to use some fresh herbs on the soup as well. So just again, just for different textures and different looks, and don't be afraid. Ooh, does that look good?
That looks really good.
And I had from the garden too something called orac. It's in the spinach family, and I actually thought we were going to use this in there, but we've run out of time, Roxanne.
Okay.
So
Well, I
let's
think
just taste. All right, you guys, it's time for lunch. A little salty, time for lunch. So, Deborah,
and Roxanne.
have had a phenomenal time in the kitchen. We've made a Mexican corn salad, we've made a green herb soup with yogurt, and a fresh heirloom tomato salad with pomegranate molasses.
To die for.
Remember, we want you to eat well and be happy.